Hey, what's going on, everybody? How y'all doing? Welcome back to the show. It's your boy Jay Larone. If you don't mind, please like, subscribe, and share. And also make sure you drop some comments down below. Now, in this new video I have here, this is O'Shea Duke Jackson. He's talking about Cynthia G. Now, Cynthia G has well, we all know who Cynthia G is, or at least some of us do. You know, she's pretty much the divester, man hater, you know. But lately, she's had some bad things to say about Kevin Samuels, and you know, which is even in Kevin's death, man, people are still, you know, they got his name in his mouth, and a lot of them, you know, it's not even in a good way, you know. And we know when Kevin did pass, women were, you know, they were celebrating. They was dancing on his grave. You know, the man had just, you know, just passed away, and certain women were happy about it. And needless to say, Cynthia G was one of them, right? So now again, Cynthia G is still got Kevin's name in her mouth, you know, talking, you know, down on the man, and he's not even here to defend himself. So you guys take a listen to this, and we're going to go ahead and talk about it later, okay?
Two days ago, I got this email, and the email says, Cynthia G completely craps on Kevin Samuels. Now, of course, I didn't really want to listen to this, but just to see if this was as brutal as I thought it was, I listened to the first few minutes, and we're going to listen to that right now. Guys, I will warn you, it's graphic.
Hey guys, I wanted to come on here to go over a video that was sent to me. And listen, I don't want to talk about worm food, kitten and heels. I really don't. I don't want to talk about a bandit who had multiple failed marriages, who was unhealthy, who had a low value life and subsequently a low value funeral. I don't want to talk about a bandit who croaked on top of a throwback because he was so unhealthy.
And one thing here, just listen to how off Cynthia G is. How she's saying she don't want to talk bad about the man or don't want to talk about him at all. But what is she doing? She's steady running her mouth about him. So that lets you know that Cynthia G is deeply disturbed, to me, in my opinion. You know, because she has, like I said, if you don't want nothing to say about the guy, why are you steady talking about him? You know, if it's not that important for you to say anything, don't say anything at all. Just be quiet, right? But no, she has to keep, you know, she has to keep his name in her mouth for some reason.
And I called out the fact that he was so unhealthy that his low value heart simply gave out. I don't want to talk about a bandit who became the father of all bandits to some daddy deprived riding struggle bandits who are desperate for a daddy, so they'll jump on any and cyber slurp it that they can find. I don't want to talk about this, but I got a video here that does a great job of illustrating Black women's pathology. It does a great job of illustrating the level of conditioning, the Black male worship, the low self-value, and Black women's willingness to do anything to get validation from a bandit who ultimately has nothing to offer her. Black women's willingness to do anything to be able to marry a bandit so she can get stuck in poverty, brag on the internet, all for the sake of being able to say she has a husband. Yet it's a 90% chance that she's going to be extremely miserable in that relationship. I don't want to talk about this, but this video is an excellent example of what is wrong with the pathology of Black women and why these struggle bandits won't change, why they're not motivated to change, and why they see no value in a group of women who continue to worship them despite their nothing as status in society.
And as you can hear, she also has a problem with women wanting to better themselves in order to find a good Black man. You see, you understand that? She doesn't like the fact that women are trying to better themselves. And these are women who basically had, some dealings with Kevin. They had heard his show, or they had talked to him, or they have been counseled by him, before his death. So they decided to make the change for the better in order to, be, a better person for themselves, to be better for their husbands, but she doesn't like that. Cynthia G hates it when other women, make changes for the better in order to, basically to get a husband or to keep their husband, but to Cynthia, that's bad. To her, and people that think like her, that's something that women shouldn't do. Women shouldn't better themselves to make their men happy. She's out there. But yeah, let's get back to this. Fair use, fair use.
And y'all know I wasn't one that watched The Kitten in Heels, but what I do know is that he was popularized by a bunch of bandits who ignored his existence when he was telling him how to get the track marks out of their drawers, how to get the crust out of their eyes and the stains from between their teeth. They didn't like him then, but the moment that he decided he wanted to upgrade his not even average at best, but low value existence, because when he was married, he couldn't even provide for his wife, he decided to jump on the internet and do what all these bandits do and use Black women as a means to accumulate revenue. And he was very successful in doing that because he understood Black female pathology and he also understood Black male pathology. I never watched The Kitten in Heels. There is not one episode of his that I watched, and quite frankly, I couldn't understand beyond Black male worship and the low.
So, does that make any sense, y'all? She never watched him, never watched his videos. But if you never watched any of his videos of him talking to women, how do you know that he started off talking to men and then started talking to women? Does that make any sense? Or did you just go off of what you heard people say? You had to have seen or watched something. See, like I said, she just be talking. But that's what they do. They just talk. They think that it makes sense, but it doesn't. If you break it down and just listen, you see that their talking points don't mean anything, because you can't say that you don't listen to the man or you never listen to him, but yet pretty much everything that he talked about. That's stupid.
Self-esteem of Black women, why they would go to a struggle bandit, a failed one, who was in his 50s and wasn't even smart enough to take care of his own health, as he's sitting up there telling Black women to take care of their health and lose weight in order to become validated. The bottom line is Worm Food Samuels was as much of a walking contradiction as any of these struggle bandits are. While they'll sit up and talk about Black women need to step away from the table and they're obese, and they'll sit up and they'll even post the obesity rates, but what they won't tell you is that they're the most broke obese demographic on the planet. In addition to them costing the government $50 billion a year by being broke, if you look at the obesity rates, it doesn't just apply to Black women who, by the way, bear children, but it applies to these struggle bandits as well. You would think they were the most in shape demographic, but they are not. But the reality is they don't have to think about losing weight. They don't have to think about bettering themselves. They don't have to think about getting any money. They don't have to think about any type of self-improvement, because what they know, just like the clip in the beginning that you heard, is that Black women are always going to choose them, and it doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter how toxic they are. It doesn't matter how harmful they are. It doesn't matter how abusive, broke, busted, and disgusted, nothing as they are. Black women are still going to tolerate them.
Now, of course, guys, I'm not here to have any kind of roast session on this YouTuber Cynthia G, or to call any names. I think, at this point, that's beneath some of us as content creators on the platform. And if you have to resort to calling names to get your point across, it's possible that you just can't get your point across. But I do want to refer to several names that she referred to Black men on this particular podcast or video that she made. And one was the term struggle bandits. Okay? Struggle bandits. That's what she's calling Black men on the podcast, struggle bandits. Why would you ever refer to a group of men as struggle bandits? And I mean, these are the same women that are going around here talking about, you don't protect Black men, you're dealing with white women, you're marrying white women, and she refers to the Black male pathology. But what kind of pathology of a person calls somebody a struggle bandit? A grown woman who, might I add, I believe has a Black son. Struggle bandit, that terminology. She also refers to Black men in that rant, and we had to bleep it out, as the B word. It's not even about Kevin Samuels anymore as much, but the B word. What type of woman that is decent, that is trying to prove a point, even if Black male or Black men do have a pathology, refers to somebody such as that by using the terminology B? Because if you call Black women that, it's a problem. If you start calling them struggle Thadianas, that would be an issue, right? It would definitely be an issue. But it's so.
Right. And O'Shea has a point on that. I mean, if you're going to prove a point, if you have a talking point, why are you calling people names? If you want to get your point across and you're calling people names, that means you really don't have a point to get across, because you went away from your topic. You went away from the point that you're trying to make. How can anybody really take you seriously on what you're saying if you are just bashing people and just talking about people? Calling them, the B word, calling them, black struggle, whatever the term she used. You know what I mean? Just calling people names out of for no reason. So yeah, I mean, you can't take a woman like that seriously. I mean, especially when she has a following, but yet she's talking down on people and really not making a point. It goes to the point to where it's like she's mad because I guess her situation didn't work out with Robert Perkins. Allegedly that's her baby daddy. I think she does have a son. So how can you have a son? That's another thing. How can you have a son and still talk down on men? That's crazy. That and that also goes to the point I was saying before in another video, how Black women are the reason that their sons have these issues. Single Black women, single Black mothers. They are the reason why their sons have issues, because they're in the house with their mom, who, like most women like Cynthia G, don't like Black men. So they project all that hate onto their sons. Then their sons grow up with all these emotional issues. So that's not a good look, and people think that kids are better off with their mom, and a lot of them are not. A lot of these kids need to be with their fathers, especially the boys, because a lot of these single women that are bitter, they take it out on their sons. And I saw a video not too long ago about a woman saying that she hates her son because her son reminds her of her husband. How can you a mom, how, even though you might not like your husband or like the baby's daddy anymore, But the fact that you hate your son because he reminds you of his father, but yet the courts will say that the son needs to be with her, and the woman will be like, well, I need to get all this child support because he's with me, full time. But yet you don't like your son because your son reminds you of of his dad. That's crazy. That is really crazy, man. I don't get it. But let's go and see what else O'Shea has to say.
Okay to call these black men struggle, bandits, and the B words. She also says that these guys are nothing A, B in society. Now, she talks about like this lady who was losing weight for her boyfriend. She's doing that to get these black men who 90% of the time, they're going to be miserable in relationships. She talked about black men being hypocritical, right? Kevin Samuels. He's telling black women to be healthy, but he wasn't healthy himself. That's interesting because let's say that's true. He wasn't healthy, but this is the same lady that comes onto YouTube that had a baby by a man, already had 5 children, wasn't married to none of the mothers.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna just stop it right there, cause as you can see, she's what we talk about. That's exactly what we talk about. The women who sit up here and have kids by these guys, knowing that these guys have other babies, but yet she having kids. She had a kid by, of course, Mr. Perkins, and he has kids by other women, but yet you're mad at him because he basically dumped you. He didn't want nothing else to do with you after y'all had sex and all that. So the fact that Perkins don't want to have anything to do with her, now she's mad at all men. She's taking it out on all men. She's taking it out on probably taking it out on her son, because her son has to hear some of the stuff that she's talking about. And since everything is online, I'm pretty sure if he hadn't seen it or heard it, he will sooner or later. It ain't gonna be long before he get to hear, and see her videos and hear what she's talking about. Deleting black baby boys and stuff like that. Really? And you have one. You have a black baby boy, and you talking about deleting them? That's crazy. That's nonsense. But you have women who think on this line that listen to her and follow her. I don't blame Passport Bros for leaving, man. I don't blame him at all. This is all this stuff. It all goes back to why Passport Bros exist. Why men are leaving. Why they're just checking out. They're done. They're through with all this. They're tired of it. So, but y'all, tell me what you think. Drop some comments down below. Please like, subscribe, and share. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Please be good to yourself. By all means, be good to one another. Y'all have a good one. Peace out.